Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast. Welcome back to this episode. This is the second part of a doubleheader. If you haven't heard the first, go back and listen to it. If you can't be bothered, that's all right. Just keep listening to this one, and hopefully you enjoy it. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I hate it when people say that.
I mean, I'm just going to say this. You just brushed over the fact of going through Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah.
Just like, the Olympic qualifiers. It's gigantic that you do Olympic qualifiers. I mean, what? And then end the sentence with, that's how I got to the NBA. That was all one paragraph. Most people don't ever get to do start of Olympics and then end in NBA just in the same paragraph. I mean, and you did that so casually as well. Kudos.
Thank you.
Jeff, in the book, I was just reading through the bio now. Do you talk about in the book about how other people can copy what you've done for mindfulness for them?
Do I talk?
Is it a teaching, like, how to meditate and stuff?
I don't go so in depth into the teaching method, primarily because I had wrote a whole book before that called The Art of Mindfulness, but my advisor at the time was like, don't put that out. Like, there's more power in the story, and let people get curious about mindfulness because of how it impacted your life. And then you can go into your personal practices. So That was pretty much it. So we kind of swapped the timelines.
Got it.
Yeah.
So he's already got one. He's already got one in the pocket.
Coming out.
I already got it tucked.
There he's already cooking away. Lovely.
So that we got to get there.
We got to get it.
How does it happen? What happens with the Knicks?
Okay, so it started as my new agent at the time. I'll give you that part. I fired my old agent because I felt like he was underselling me and just not getting into my potential. And then I fired my old agent. My new agent was just very on it. Then he calls me and he's like, "Hey, what's your schedule like this week?" And I was just like, "I'm just training." He's like, do you want to go to a workout with the New York Knicks?
What's your schedule like? Knicks? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
don't worry about it.
I'm like, is this normal? Like, what? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, they're hosting a workout this week. Do you want to go? What? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I'm
you don't
busy.
have to ask
Sorry.
me twice. So I went to the workout. I was shocked. I was like, I'm training right now with NBA players. Like, this is insane.
Was there anything in the schedule before that? Did you other than training? Did you drop anything to go to that?
Oh no. I dropped that other contract in Denmark, and then I went,
That's a wise move.
For sure.
Yeah. No, everyone, New
But
York Knicks,
yeah.
one of the most biggest brands in the world for basketball.
It's the biggest basketball
everything
brand.
Gets dropped for that.
Was that in MSG?
Yeah.
So it's like, hang on, you're going to go training in Madison Square Garden?
Oh, no. We have a whole separate facility in north outside of the city.
Yeah.
It's like 30, 45 minutes from MSG.
That's what I was just suddenly thinking, like, blimey.
So
that would have been insane.
That'd have been intense.
So you've got another, pinch me goosebump moment there. You know, you're just like, wow, you've had these big highs, you've had a low, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, my high is back up.
Yeah, it's up there now. It's definitely up there.
Damn. Favorite NBA player to play against?
I know we're throwing you under a bus here because like they'll be like, oh, we all know Jeff. Yeah, we do know Jeff. Yeah, Jeff, who was it? Which one of us was your favourite?
I would say playing with would be Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, nice.
But we never were on the same team. It was just more in training.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Playing against.
That is ridiculous.
Carmelo Anthony, you know, a generational player.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but that same time, you played with a future Dallas Maverick. I believe Tim Hardaway Jr. was there.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
That was the first year that he got his big contract that we. I'm a Mavs fan, so we then inherited that particular contract, for better or worse.
Wow. Amazing. Believe it or not, my first like NBA basket was on Tim in practice. Yep.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah, we had, but I will say my first official practice, like after I signed the preseason deal,
yeah,
I had a bad rookie moment. It was like, we were in a scrimmage and they were running a play because they were down by 2 or 3, I can't remember, and they ran a play, and I'm telling the other guard, I'm like, are we switching this or am I staying home? Like, and he wasn't clear, so I'm like, well, I mean, I'm just gonna stay with my man because I don't know what he's saying, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. So ball in, it was a side out of bounds play. Ball in, Tim comes off of a screen. I get hit. I just bolt after him. He catches the ball, takes one dribble, turns, and just shoots it. And I come up and I try to block it, but you know how his release is like, it kind of goes forward. So he does that, and my hand's here. So his hand hits mine after he shoots. Bottoms, just 3 in my face, and it's like 3 seconds left in the scrimmage. So my first scrimmage, I get an and 1-3 on my head. I was like, oh my God. Everyone was like, rug. I was like, oh my God. It's the last thing I wanted.
So they broke you in on that one, and and then you went and you scored. So when you hit that first shot,
earlier in the practice, I gave him a couple buckets, but he got the last laugh at the end of the practice.
When what's that feeling? Because obviously you're in the moment, you're playing.
Yeah.
But it's just that next. I've just scored. I'm at the practice. There's Melo. There's Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, and I'm playing with them. These are my peers.
Yeah. And
that's the level I am at.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, yeah, you got this. There's the ball.
It's confidence. Your confidence boosts by like 10,000 points. You're just like sometimes I would like sit in my car and like be like, bro, is this even real right now? Like this, it's so surreal. Like, and just to even think that like meditation and mindfulness, like you'll definitely read about it, but like this was the product of that. And I'm just like sitting here just like mind blown sometimes at night. Like, this is wild. Like like younger me wouldn't have imagined it. And then next thing I know, like there's a bunch of signs and then it happens. You're just like, wow.
I mean, that'd be going straight on Facebook with all those people that you went to college with and went, you know, ourselves going pro. Just letting you know.
Yep.
Picture with the Knicks kit on.
How did your dream work out for you? Because mine's doing very well. Thank you very much.
I love that.
Oh, man.
But as when you talk about peers and stuff, because there's some classic NBA examples, like, what was his name?
So classic, they've gone from your mind.
No, I think was it Mark Aguirre? No, not Mark Aguirre. Joe Dumars.
Yeah.
And Joe Dumars turned up and he had like a poster of Isaiah Thomas on his wall.
Yes.
And then he gets picked and he's in the Pistons and he's running up and down. In his rookie year, he's like, I'm running down with Isaiah.
Yeah.
And I had a poster on my wall like a year ago. Like,
now, you obviously, I think your name was in the hat in the draft, wasn't it, in 2017?
No, never.
You never went in the draft. I looked at the wrong person. But if you go 2018 and you see these players and all the people who, at that point, I believe David Nuebert was actually in 2018, was either drafted into the NBA or went up for it. The reason I say that is because he's a player who then went to the London Lions last year and of that similar sort of age group.
Oh, wow.
But when you went and you had that contract, so you went to training.
Yeah.
Was it an Exhibit 10? Is that right?
Yeah.
Two-way, something like a two-way or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So I pretty much got in, made a good impression through the private workouts.
Amazing.
And it just, the coach was like, yeah, we need to sign him to training camp. Wild.
it's like every week must be a pinch yourself moment. Like, geez, this is happening.
There's a great picture of you signing the contract and you're looking at the camera. I don't know who's on the other side of it. I don't know the person who's on the other side, but you literally just signing in with the coach. Say like, I'm signing a contract. Next.
So it's crazy because that's Michelle Obama's brother. And
oh right,
that's him. Hey. Yeah.
And he went to Princeton. So he came up to me and was like, who let a Columbia guy in here? Like, busting my balls. And I was like, oh man. I was just so like mind blown. I was like, oh, I'm just, happy to be here.
So from that moment, at what point do you get a jersey? Because that's the bit you want to see where there's the name is on the back of the jersey.
You got your number.
Like, oh,
yeah, so it started with media day, and I couldn't participate in media day because they still were hashing some things out with another player's contract. So I show up, but I can't like do all the cool stuff, which definitely made me hurt. But just having the jersey and everything, it was just like I was sitting in my locker, like smelling it and looking at the socks, just like really like embracing the whole moment.
I love that. You're looking at the socks.
You would.
Everything.
You would. It's like it's the percentage of people that get through high school as a player, then get to college, and then to get to a point where you're sat there and your name and jerseys on a number, like the percentage of players to get to that thing is like 0 point something, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's 500 players in the NBA every season or something like that, and then out of that, the amount who apply is X amount of people who can even get to apply, and even if they apply, some people are like,
you just have goosebumps. You'd be sat there just going goosebumps, just like
wow.
Yeah, it's breathtaking. Literally, you're just like,
now the real work begins.
Yeah. Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, I have a chapter on that portion of the NBA. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, so without giving that away, then.
Well, can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Because this kind of might answer, I think, where you're going with this. Everyone in the world looks at the NBA and is like, yeah, I would do this and I would do that. And I guess we're all at a certain playing level, which is nowhere near where you guys are. And Brian Scalabrine, who's some people consider the worst NBA player of all time, he then made a statement and said, I am closer to Michael Jordan than you are to anyone is to me as an average player. And he's like, I will play anyone one-on-one. And he has these games and wipes the floor with people.
Yeah.
So is that like when you get to that standard?
In his 50s as well, isn't he? He wasn't. He wasn't
Yeah,
young
he's
doing
killing
it.
people like now
yeah.
doing it. So
Yeah.
it just makes you think there's a huge gulf
Yeah.
that you've just traveled to get to.
Oh, for sure.
And then when you say the work's just started, it's like, wow, okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, definitely. You are with specialists, like pure specialists.
And you obviously were playing in Europe as well, so you've adjusted your game in that European style, and
For
now
sure.
it's we're going to not re-inject you into the American game, but by
I
the
think
way,
that would be a strength.
Yeah.
100%. Now looking at it now,
yeah, it definitely was a strength for sure.
so there's a few coaches, and it wasn't Pop, but it was someone else, and what they said was it was really funny how you mentioned that, Jeff, about the games, because he said in Europe they spend all this time practicing and fundamentals, then one game a week. Whereas in the Americas, a lot of the time it's you have 3 or 4 games a week, but only 1 or 2 practices around the fundamentals and the drills and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why when people say, "Oh, what about some of the skills from the European players?" It's like, well, no, they're fundamentals, and a lot of the strategies and all of it is about playing the role. These are the runs, these are the pick, these are like that's what the game is about there.
Oh, 100%.
So then bringing that into the NBA, you must have thought, I've got a few tricks that you guys don't know.
Yeah, I did have a couple of things in my bag for sure. But my mindset always walking into it, I'll give you guys a brief rundown, is at the end of the day, I want to add. So like, how can I be of value? And, I'm not Kyrie Irving, like I'm, not James Harden, but I need to be something that can complement the team in some facet. So I really took the role of 3-and-D, like playing very hard defense, knowing the little things, knowing people's tendencies, making the right passes, shooting when I'm open. In certain cases, depending on the shot clock, I'll try to get busy, but, really just being a solid role player and just simplifying the game.
Yeah, I mean, you do find where your place is and say this is what I'm. I mean, Dennis Rodman's one of my favorites. Could he shoot? No. Could he do anything else? No. But what did he do? He was like an absolute dog with the ball.
For sure. Sheer effort,
and you knew he was getting those.
One of the greatest
boards.
defenders and rebounds of all time.
Yeah, and that, he's, dare I say, he's the ultimate role player, because he's only in there just to do one thing: just get the ball, Dennis. That's it. I don't need you to do anything else. Just get the ball.
Jeff, I forgot to ask you your Knicks jersey. I was just talking to Mark off air. Have you framed that?
of course.
Yeah, I was just thinking you'd have to frame that.
Yeah, I framed both of them. I framed the white one and the blue one.
Oh.
And I had them hanging in my apartment in New York. And then I shipped them down. My ex-girlfriend shipped them down, but it was such a nightmare. I guess she forgot to tell them to stuff it, because it's glass framed. Like, it was a nice frame. And the white one came, it was pristine. The blue one was broken into pieces, and I was just like, oh.
But the jersey's okay.
The jerseys are.
That's all that
right.
matters.
Just a couple of scratches, but it's all good.
That's why she's an ex, Paul.
That's why she's the ex.
You damaged the jersey. Get out. That's it.
Instant dismissal.
Right.
So look, Jeff. Let's talk about the Knicks then. So we were on the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
And we're about to hit another low.
Yes.
That's got to be tough. This has got to be the toughest low.
Yeah. But at that point, I was 16 of 15. So I was the last person to get cut. And at that point, I was just like, it had given me it had reassured everything that I was feeling. I felt like I had so much to give to the game and so much to do. And that impacted a lot of the decisions that I made leading up to me signing with them. It really came to it really like came to my mind that like look, like if I did it once, I could do it twice. That one, and two, like, you know, you become like relentless. You become like like your mind is like, man, I can do anything, because it's like, as long as I lay down the necessary groundwork and I like fully believe in myself, and, you know, seek out the necessary resources to help me on, you know, that journey, then, you know, good things will happen. Because I really do believe that, you know, this world, you know, it favors the skilled and the hardworking. And a lot of the times it's like, you know, sometimes we think working hard is just on our craft, but there's also a whole mental side of the game. There's also you know, the part where there's the little things go overlooked, and being cognizant of that. So, you know, it really, it gave me a lot of reassurance, and it answered a lot of, you know, unanswered questions that I had previously.
I love Jeff's positivity. I love that. It's, you know, that's taken all the positives from, you know, from all the highs and the lows and just put them together as one massive positive. I love that.
Yeah,
That is so
for
good.
sure.
And then,
Because,
sorry, go on. I interrupted.
oh, no worries. Because I really dedicated myself to being a student of the game. Like, I looked at it, I'm like, hey, I'm a student. If I make it, I make it. This is my internship, and I'm here to learn, grow, and get better. So that I didn't take it personally. That was one thing. Shout out to the Four Agreements for, you know, teaching me that on my journey. Um, but yeah, I just looked at it as a, you know, a mechanism to just refine, reflect, and keep pushing.
And I just want to go back to one of the original things I said about the NBA. Do you agree with what Brian Scalabrini's saying, that when you get to that level, you guys are closer to Michael Jordan than like us, the normal people, are to you guys, if that makes sense?
It depends what scenario you're kind of basing that on, because Michael Jordan was just dominant in every category, every facet of the game. But, you know, in that sense, if you do have the green light, you can be close to that. But like, you know, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to answer, honestly. But like, just know that anybody in the NBA, whether they look like they have no skill or whether they're just, you know, there to do one job, but they're super skilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going based off of like a one-on-one setting.
How, I mean, I know we didn't mention it, but how competitive is that scenario where you're getting down to being picked? Do you look at
Oh my God.
do you look at that as something that you thought, okay, what I learned and what I've been learning in mindfulness is going to help me in that pressure point? Because I can
that's
imagine
got to be I mean, when you,
different
that's got
level.
to be a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it
That
is
is a
a dog fight. It is. Put it this way: the way they kind of pitch it is 0.5. Like, if you get the ball, you have 0.5 seconds to make a decision: pass, shoot, dribble. Like, you have to be so in tune, so locked in. Like, it's super physical too. Like, you have to remember, and the mental aspect. Like, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot.
And how long are those sort of training sessions? What is the like the layout of that, just for us regular people who will never be called up?
Who just dream of it.
I mean, I just phone up and say I want to play tonight.
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking in terms of practice, we'd have like a lift before, like a dynamic lift, and then we would go, whether it's watch film or go onto the court. And practice typically ran, I want to say like an hour and 30. But then after that, like, they incentivize you. So they have a point system where you get incentivized on your recovery. So, like, for example, if you get a massage after practice, that's X amount of points. If you get in the cold tub, it's X amount of points. If you get a shake from one of the sponsors versus if you get a shake that's made by one of the nutritionists, that's X amount of points. Like all these things that are how you recover after a training session, it's it's put into like this point system in which whoever has the most top 3 points at the end gets a reward.
I'd be saying, give me everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
say
so
many
some
points.
people, they'll be in there for hours.
That's the menu.
Plus you
Toe
have
massage.
chefs
Yeah.
in the facility, so you go eat, chill, like I love just hanging out there.
Yeah.
And before we get into the NBA G League, what's Madison Square Garden like?
It's electric. It is, running out into the tunnel. Running out of the tunnel is just like, whoa, like the warm-ups are crazy. Like it's like you feel like you're in a video game, but then you feel like you're in the real world, and then it's just like I was just so mind blown the whole time.
Yeah. That's
The only thing
What
we
an
can say is
imagination.
we scored after an Orlando Magic game because we paid for a little bit extra to get on the court at the end. That's the only thing.
Yeah, shoot the free throw.
Yeah.
family day. Yep.
It was a layup. They wouldn't let us do anything else
No.
other than the layup drill. But pretty much our whole Barstool team,
Except Tim.
the Portsmouth
One of the
Fury went
guys.
out, we just
One of
did
the
a
guys
layup
went
drill
in
for a
and
bit.
just threw up a 3, didn't he?
Yeah, they didn't. They're like, no, swish. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
We didn't think that was going in, but
I love it.
Hey, we
You did it
still
twice?
talk about it now.
Yeah. Whatever.
So with the NBA G Leagues, what's the standard there like? And again, is that still like a dogfight there?
So I'll be just based off of personal experience. Would I say it's the best brand of basketball? No, being completely honest.
Okay.
But it's, how can I describe it? So for like practices were great, very skill work based. And I really enjoyed that. But the games, it's one of those situations where, because I ended up not staying with the Knicks organization. I went to the Spurs. So in that scenario, they had two-way players already. So people who, whether they get called up, but if not, then they're down in the G League. So it's the brand of basketball is more geared towards highlighting them, and like then the chemistry is off because their practice or their version of getting used to the gameplay in the NBA. So
And
that aspect was hard to kind of like wrestle with, but when they're not in the G League, then it's like more team oriented, and everyone's still trying to get theirs and try and get that attention to get to the NBA.
because you do see some players going G League who have come back with bad. I'm thinking of, say, like Jonathan Isaac, for example. He played in G League while he was coming back before recovery, just so they can say, let's get some game fitness. Because it, more than anything, is like, is he recovered physically? Yeah, but he's got no game fitness. So they like put him in, and you'll see players like Mac McClung, for example, got into the NBA. Then they put him into the G League. Then he moved from Philly to Orlando, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then they put him in the G League, and it's like he thrives there. But when he went to the NBA, he didn't. It wasn't. His game doesn't suit it for some reason.
It doesn't translate.
Yeah, it's really funny, isn't it?
My favorite all-time NBA G League player, obviously other than Jeff Coby, is Andre Ingram. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I played against him when he was
really?
when he was on the Lakers. Yeah, he has a motor. He just loves it. He is a boom, get it up, just all the way, just nuts. Yep.
Because he was a great player, and he was in the G League for a long time, wasn't he?
A super long time, actually.
And it was just right at the end They went, 10-day contract.
Yeah.
And he had that one game, just lit it up, didn't he? Like 3, bam.
Yeah.
3,
Sniper.
bam. Again, I think he scored 11 points or something like that. I think it was 11. Maybe 13. I remember 3 threes and maybe a free for a field goal. Yeah, something like, I think, or 2. I think it was 11 or 13 points. But I mean, what a great moment that was for him.
Mm-hmm.
So at any point, the Austin Spurs could turn around and just say, Jeff, let's go. You're going up. That's kind of what everyone's playing for. Is that right?
Pretty much.
Waiting for Pop to make the call.
Does Pop ever turn up to the games?
So we know, because the Spurs organization, it's separate. So it's, for the Spurs is San Antonio. For the G League Spurs, it's Austin. So it's two different parts of Texas.
Closer to Dallas.
Yeah, actually.
Should have joined the Mavs.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
So, what happens then?
So after we went to California. After we went to Brazil, played a tournament, and then we went to California. Played against the Lakers once or twice, I can't remember. And then we played against the Clippers twice. And then after that, it was pretty much the end, because some of the players were leaving. Some of the players left to go play in for like their national teams and whatnot. And there was only one spot left, and they chose to keep one of the guards, who I came in there with, as opposed to me at the forward position. So after that, I was, still trying to figure it out. What do I do? I'm on this journey. And then my agent came to me and was like, do you want to, help a team out in Luxembourg finish out their season? And, at that point, I was like, yeah, I just want to hoop. So I ended up going to Luxembourg to try and help that team, Racing Luxembourg, get further in the playoffs.
Nice.
I mean, look, you the diversity in your the leagues that you've gone to is just great. I love that. Like,
I love the fact you just say, I want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because there are, we've had this discussion before about, would you want to just sit on the bench? Or would you want to be part of something? And do you want to be like, I am part of something? So I might come on and off occasionally.
Yeah,
but that's good because I'm part of it.
We've had players on the show who've just said, look, I've gone down league just so I can get court time rather than stay where I am. And
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because you just feel like because then you feel like you're part of that team and they're making decisions and strategy and saying, hey, we know we've got to bring Jeff in. We got that type of player. He's going to be perfect for sorting him out. And then you feel that you're part of something. Otherwise, it's like, I will throw you a few minutes and you think, really, what am I doing here?
But I want to say, definitely, Jeff is one of the most, I'm going to use the word, cultured basketball players.
Yeah.
He's got around. Like,
I've played all over.
Like, lots of places in Europe, NCAA, the Knicks, the G League. You're well cultured, especially, I love it, the fact that he's just gone to a couple of places in Europe as well.
Well, we've got to throw in then Colombia, I believe.
Yeah, South America, New York, Dubai, Qatar. Maldives, yeah.
Dominican Republic, and then Yamaguchi Patriots.
Yeah, Yamaguchi, Japan, yep.
And I love that because, I've been to Japan a handful of times, and they are one of the, I'd almost say one of the most politest people.
Oh, wow, absolutely. I loved
that
it.
I've ever been to. So polite. You know what? It was just like in, I think it was Kill Bill, right? Like in the movies. I was with my wife. I think we were on a honeymoon, somewhere around near the honeymoon. Anyway,
it was
memorable.
We were
in Japan, and but yeah, I left Japan thinking, that's amazing. I'd love to go back. So polite. The people are amazing over there.
Absolutely.
Jeff, would you say one of your memories of Tokyo?
Hey.
New York to Tokyo, man.
Absolutely.
How did that come about?
How did that come about? I mean, that's in Tokyo right there. So tell us about that.
Oh my God.
We dig.
Funny,
Jack, we've done our
thinking about
research.
that song in the book.
Mate, it's a great song. It's got
Thank
a
you.
great flow on it. I love that.
Thank you. Thank
We should
you.
end the show with that song.
I'll see what I can do while just telling us about it.
It actually, so, as I started this like writing binge, I love music. It's just, it's one of the rhythms of life. I After the whole NBA, G League, Luxembourg thing, the next year, I was getting ready to go back to training and going to the Knicks. And then I got into, while I was in an Uber, I got into a car accident, which left me pretty much out of commission for a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, damn.
So, I was trying various things, therapy, physical therapy, the whole nine. And, one of my best friends, he happens to be a music producer. So, I happened to be back in Florida, and he was like, yo, man, come over. Like, what's up? I see you're back. Let's link. And, at that point, I was like depressed out of my mind. I didn't want to do anything. I was ghost on everyone. And, I ended up, I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't have anything to lose right now. So I went, and, I just saw the camaraderie, the teamwork, and all it takes to make a song. And I just got so fascinated by it. I was like, this is awesome. And like, I was just like giving some ideas, and, it felt good because I felt so dead inside for those two years because I couldn't play basketball. It felt good to like feel some kind of like validation, like, oh, wow, that was a good idea. Like, I was like, oh, really? So, I kept going back, and I ended up making that song, but I don't release it or anything like that. It was just like, I made the song, but it was rough back then. And then, while I was in Japan, my teammate, one of my best friends, he flew out to come visit me. And I was just like, it's honestly crazy because like, I feel like I have to drop this song because, it's like a manifestation of like me going from not playing and questioning if I'll ever play basketball again, making this song called New York to Tokyo, and like years before. And then, you fast forward, when I signed that contract, I looked at my plane ticket and it said New York to Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Nah.
So that full circled moment, and I'm just like, yeah, I had been on that writing binge. I was like, okay, we need to mix and master this song and just put it out there, just because it's so wild.
I mean, I'll be honest, if I'd seen that, I'd be thinking, I've seen the film Final Destination. Now, I wrote a song about going to Tokyo, and now I've got the ticket for Tokyo. I'll be thinking, is this seat?
Wait a second.
Am I in the right seat here? Is this the right? Someone starts coughing. There's something else. You think, hang on, no. I'm getting off this flight. No, this is too much.
Yo, that would be hilarious.
Wow. So there we go. So we've got basketball, music,
Author.
Anything else? You're under the sheets. Anything else unusual?
Photography.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. Had an eye for it. I've been taking photos for quite some time. It just helps me. And I also look at it as a form of mindfulness because it really, forces you to be in the moment. But yeah, I've shot, I started out, at the time when I didn't have basketball, my therapist, told me that I needed to find something to, fill the void of what I had just lost. And like another way to kind of find yourself is getting lost in the service of others. So I started volunteering and like helping people. Like, I take photos of people, as like volunteer work, and just seeing the joy when I show them a picture and they're like, what? Like, that's me? Like, it kind of like.
So you're a really good photographer then?
I know a thing or two.
Yeah. So you know all the lighting and all of that then?
I know enough. Definitely enough.
Enough to be
Not
dangerous.
everything, but I know enough. I can make a good photo. And just seeing that joy that I was, facilitating, producing, it really, like, I was like, oh wow, like I needed this. And then next thing I know, I'm shooting like artists, fashion week, athletes, like brands, the list goes on.
Nice. You
Yeah.
know what? I just thought there's so many people that we talk to, especially players who are, and this kind of ties in, I think, with basketball, where they're just creative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether it's being creative on the basketball court, obviously, but then
I think it's important. I think it's an important part of the game.
photography, music. It's all people who create.
I think it comes down to vision.
Artists.
Vision. It comes down to vision.
Yep.
Because if you think of it like that way, when you talk about, let's say someone like, I don't know, they talk about Kyrie or Luka or someone like that, where they do a pass and you think,
Only Dallas players you mentioned there, by the way.
Of course. Of course. Why would I not? But when someone does a pass like that, say Magic Johnson, for example, when he did that pass, someone was like, how did he see that there's someone over there? Even though at no point did his head move past that. It's like, because he knows there's an inherent vision. And there's the existential connection between, this is my team, I know what we're going to do, I know where they're going to be, I know where they expect that I'm going to be, and they also expect that the ball's going to be there. So it's a level of vision.
Oh, for sure.
It's got to be. It has to be.
So what's next for Jeff Coby? I'm talking about you in the third person to you. That was a bit weird.
I love it. What's next?
What's next, Jeff?
I'm into training right now.
We've got the art of mindfulness.
Yeah.
We got that coming.
Yeah, that's definitely brewing. That's brewing. Finish out the tour here, and once I get back to the States, I'll reevaluate and see if if I want to continue playing, where would it be, and pretty much just continue to work hard, spread the message, and yeah.
Jeff, I am speaking on behalf of the Portsmouth Force. We will 100% give you a contract if you want to come and play National League Div 3. There's no money in it, but you can definitely come and play for us. That's
Contract
for sure.
of smiles.
You can play for the Portsmouth Force and the Portsmouth Fury local league.
There would be nothing better than a local league team. Be like, you appear to have a new player. Be like, yeah, it's Jeff.
What's the plan? Give Jeff the ball.
Yeah, it's it. It's that one with Jordan. Is just, don't want everyone else, go away, give Jordan the ball. Done. Give Jeff the ball. Everyone else just get out. Do you have a favourite play? Do you have a favourite something that you like to run or be part of?
I like to come off of an Iverson screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just helps so much. You already have, unless they switch it, then it's a bit tough. But I like to come off of an Iverson. I like to run the Princeton offense, in other words, point, because it really gets everybody involved. Yeah.
And when you say, we haven't sort of dived in, you mentioned about, like, obviously you're a forward and you're not a small player. Nowadays, a lot of people are talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rather than going forward and I won't say positionless, but trying to have a bit more fluidity.
Yeah.
How does that in you with your game? Are you someone who they'd say, oh, he's comfortable bringing it up, or are you someone who's wants less ball in hand unless you're going to be scoring or defending, for example?
Yeah, I mean, if I get the rebound, I like to run the break. But whenever they would press, sometimes I'd bring the ball up. That's no pressure to me. I work on ball handling. But yeah, but if it's late, it depends, like, the intensity of the game. Like, if I'm super tired, and there's a guard right there, then I'd rather give it to him, conserve the energy, and be more efficient on offense. But it all depends.
Amazing.
Mark, I've just thought, for the socials for this one, you got to put this picture out of Jeff.
Yeah. Well, do you know what?
Where he's in a suit and the New York Knicks, Mindful Journey.
Yeah, that's one of my favourites, where he's got the jersey with the suit jacket on. It's like, I'm going to work twice kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally.
I also love that one.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Where he's going to Naismith Basketball Hall,
Uh-huh.
and he's walking out of a USA top on. You're like, that's pretty cool. Most mortals, we don't get to do stuff like that.
Oh, stop it.
Nah, man, that's very, very cool. Right, Jeff, this is the important point of the show. Everything's built up to this now. It's clutch time. Who you passing the ball to? Who's taking that clutch shot?
Damian Lillard.
Oh,
whoa! Wow. We haven't had Dame yet.
Dame.
Yeah.
He's going Dame time.
I watch Dame religiously.
I loved when he got trolled for that. I loved it when he got trolled for that. That was Tyrese Halliburton, wasn't it? Who was doing that to him?
Yeah.
Was it Halliburton doing it to him going, yes, you're not done yet? Wow.
Wow, Dame. He's on this. We keep a table.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna do something nice with it and say each person.
Put it up. We should update it every time we have a guest on. But MJ is clearly in front.
He gets up there.
But
MJ,
Dame is now in there.
That's very interesting.
That's the first shout for Dame.
Okay, Five and Pine. Your top five, your strongest team. Tell us how you want to do it.
This is the greatest question ever when we play Five and Pine, because you just see people's face just go, oh my God, like what to do.
The amount of people who've said, can I contact you after the show and tell you if I change my mind in the evening. Obviously they don't practice mindfulness, so they haven't learned to let it go. And they really think about it. So you give it to us, Jess. You know, Jeff, you could be, are these the five that are going to play the best and give the best result?
Mm-hmm.
The best five that you want to see on the court, the most entertaining.
I always like to say the team that saved the world.
Oh, you're going Space Jam. You're taking that.
Oh my God.
You're taking the Space Bugs Bunny.
But it's your team to save the world, so it can be anyone you want.
Okay, let me think. Give me a second.
This is quite good because we've never had someone on who he could name a player he's actually played with as well.
Yes.
This is quite good.
Yeah. Oh, I played against him. Yeah.
Yeah. We've had a couple who've done that, but for more sentimental reasons as opposed to, oh yeah, I was that good.
Okay. I'm going to do, Five and Pine, the best. Okay.
Mark, you need to copyright that Five and Pine.
No, this is
I love it.
There's so many scenarios and ways I'm thinking of this.
You know what? Mark came up with a really good one, which was to put Michael Jordan on the bench, because when he comes in, he's going to be going nuts.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, who would I put? Because it needs to be somebody who's like high utilization.
Well, you've already said you were a Chicago man and sort of went over to Coby.
Yeah. So all right. So this is where we do it. I'd go Coby.
Always going Coby straight off the bat.
Is this Coby Bryant or Jeff Coby?
Both. So me and
has anyone done that? That was one of my questions I had. Was like, has anyone said? You said, is a basketball player here Coby? And then I bet people have been like, what?
Me, Coby, Dennis Rodman.
Ooh, I'm liking this.
Giannis. Healthy Giannis, though. Super dominant Giannis. And my fifth would be... I need like a lockdown defensive specialist.
Oh.
Do you know what we should do? I just had an idea.
I have one for him, but I can't tell him it. I'm going to wait until he finishes, then I'll tell you one I think will be good.
At the end of the season, you should put everyone's five in a table
and rank
go
them.
Who would win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact he's put himself in.
Because we must have, how many guests have we had now altogether? So we must have about 40 or 50 of these.
Yeah. We'll go through them.
Really.
You got a fifth, and you got the bench.
Yeah, I'm putting Michael Jordan on the bench, but for my fifth, I think
MJ on the bench.
for my fifth player, I gotta go Steph.
Ooh. Okay, do you know who I'd have put in there?
Who?
Tim Duncan.
Oh yeah, he's
Because you're saying a lockdown defensive player, and you got Giannis there already. You go Duncan and Giannis, and you got Rodman in there. It's like no one is getting any balls at all.
Yeah. Oh, zero, and that's a championship team right there.
Steph.
Boom.
I mean,
That's a strong team.
that's a strong.
I would
team.
say that's gonna be a top 5 out of everyone we've had so far.
Oh wow, I appreciate it.
That's a tough team.
That's
I like the fact that Jeff put himself in there,
And
because I would
and
put myself in
he's
there. Just
put
I want to
himself
play with that. That'd be epic.
Jeff, you've put yourself in. Just think about this. You put yourself in, and you got MJ on the bench. There's a level of confidence.
Game so mad.
I know, that's my strategy.
Fire.
Can you imagine that?
Me on the bench? All right, watch.
But this is
perfect. Yeah, do your thing.
Can you imagine everyone mentally, the second that someone's like, okay, MJ's coming on, every player on the opposite team would be like, oh, he's coming on now. He's going to be filthy mad. And it just, like, he doesn't have, it's almost like a hypnotist, isn't it? Where he doesn't have to do anything. He just steps on the court and mentally he's like beating them.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. He's the best at that.
Is he the GOAT?
For sure. When it comes, because the GOAT is the most dominant, I think. But when we look at, you spread it across all the stats,
Yep.
The X, the Y, the Z, LeBron is
Most accomplished.
most accomplished. Yeah, for sure.
Because then you got Wilt, who's, 11? Was it Bill Russell, 11 championships? Wilt has got, like, you could just look across all of the stats, couldn't you, and find a good reason for everyone.
Yeah.
But
I heard
Jordan's the blueprint. He's the standard by which every player's like the most defensive wins, points, steals, like clutch plays. Just
For sure.
in a playoffs, he was just, if he got to the finals, he's undefeated.
I heard Shaq talking on is it TNT? Is it TNT?
Yeah.
And he said about Bill Russell. He was like, I'm going, because he was selling all his, remember, he was just before he passed away, he was selling all his stuff.
Yeah, Bill did, yeah.
And Shaq was like, I'm putting a bid in for every single one of his championship rings, and no one, I will keep going. No one's outbidding me. And so Shaq's got Bill Russell's championship rings.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd love to go around Shaq's house. You got all Shaq stuff.
Well, he could have it on the
Oh,
shelf.
man.
11
He'd have
13. 13. Russell got 13.
But Shaq could put it on a shelf. You're not going to reach it, are you? You'd just be like, well, you could reach it, Jeff, but we can't.
Literally. Shaq is a large human.
Coming from someone who's 6'9", saying he's a large human. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. it's I'm like, wow.
Is there someone that you'd love to play with as a, like, currently? If someone said right now, Jeff, let's go, and we're going to go, would you go, like, say the Knicks at the moment? I mean, they're strong.
Yeah.
With Hart and Brunson, they're rocking it.
Damian Lillard.
Really? You'd love to go?
100%. Yes.
I mean, yeah, you said Dame, and you've also mentioned Giannis, so you'd love to go to the Bucks.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, get your coat. It's pretty cold up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ah man, I'd much rather them leave there and we go play somewhere sunny. But
I mean, you are a Floridian, so born and raised down near Fort Lauderdale, wasn't it? Down near that area, in Miami.
Yep.
So,
okay.
So if you're born and raised there, then you spent enough time up in New York.
Yeah.
I guess going Milwaukee's not that much colder.
Yeah, could be worse.
I'm off coming over to Florida this year, Jeff.
For sure. Hit me up anytime.
I'm coming to see the Magic.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Would you have liked to have played for the Magic or the Heat? Just,
Absolutely.
I mean, especially the Heat. I've watched Miami play a few times, and that's tasty. I watched, the dunk that Vince Carter did on Alonzo.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for that. Yeah, and literally, when he pulled that hammer back, and he was like, "Oh, I could go back further," and then just time stopped. Absolutely, time stopped. And there was some guys behind, and I had my Vince Carter top on, and it was like at New Jersey at the time, and the guys behind like, "Yo, your boy just did Alonzo and stuff," and it was like, "Oh wow!" And I'd never experienced the way that the crowds were so like we just all talk with each other, even though I was got a New Jersey top on.
Yeah.
Because like I follow the player, not the jersey, the team necessarily at that time.
Yeah.
And they were just like, we were all just chatting about the game and stuff. And
You were lucky you caught that, Mark, because I've been with to NBA games with him. He sits there on his phone, looking at cars or whatever he's doing. He looks up. Yeah, there we go. Looks down, looks up. You were lucky you saw that.
I watched Giannis play last time that we were there, and it's like you thought, I don't know if I'm watching this. Like, he doesn't seem to be doing a lot, and you look up and go, damn, he's got like 22 points.
Yeah, just like that.
So efficient. It's ridiculous.
So, Jeff, before we wrap this up, have you got any final words to tell everyone about your book?
Anybody who's ever doubted themselves, they see a better future, they see the higher version of themselves. I think this book will serve you in its, rightful purpose in terms of, reinforcing the idea of doubling down, strengthening your intuition, your foundation, and also just understanding that there's a plethora of resources out there for you to tap into to, expedite your growth. And the book can be found on Amazon, even the UK store, Barnes & Noble, and pretty much at all the major book distributors. So just type it in, A Mindful Journey by Jeffrey Coby, and get enlightened.
Well, if our listeners, I'm sure they will, just feel the positivity coming from Jeff. And it's always really funny, like, because we get so many messages, and like when we had another guy on called Dan Lloyd, and he wrote a book in the 80s, and we had him on like a few months ago, and his book started getting bought in Amazon.
Yeah, well, one of the guys sent a picture in like, hey, I bought this, I found this on Amazon. He's like, I don't have a copy now. Like, what?
Yeah. So, that's really good. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm reading the bio here. It sounds great. Even if I hadn't have read this, just by listening to Jeff and everything that's emanating from him in what he's saying, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go and get this evening. So,
yeah, same here, because I need to know the bits that Jeff's left out, and I know you've left out on purpose. That was super sneaky, and I respect that. Because now I want to know more about Jeff's and what's going on there. And obviously go down and everyone go onto YouTube and check out that awesome song as well. JCBY New York to Tokyo, NY to Tokyo.
Are we going to end on that?
We can end it. Well, I can play it through this, for sure.
Is it clean, Jeff?
No.
What's the language like?
That's all right.
18 and up.
That's all right.
Okay, we'll have to do a snowflake warning. We do these snowflake warnings. Snowflake warning.
What? Snowflake it just to...
Song coming up. Hey, this is going to be going up the charts, Jeff.
What a tune. Oh my God.
You weren't expecting that, Jeff, were you? You weren't
I
expecting
was
that.
Absolutely not. Oh my God.
Wow. I think it's time to wrap this up. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you. And go check out his book, everybody. And we've got loads more episodes coming up. And I have been Mark.
I have been Paul, and we have had Jeff Coby, former New York Knick, on the show today. And his book is out on Amazon. It's called A Mindful Journey. And in this inspiring and insightful memoir, join professional basketball player Jeff Coby on captivating through his extraordinary career where he unveils the profound impact of meditation and self-development on his life, both on and off the court.